What's up? I'm Be Real.
I'm Sen Dog.
I'm Bobo.
We're Cypress Hill, and you're tuned in to Chemical Magazine.
Hi, this is Vicky reporting for Chemical Magazine. Today we're joined by Cypress Hill. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Good, thank you.
You played a show here in London yesterday. How's it feel back in the UK?
It was incredible. It was fun. It was just like how we remembered, London to be. Bunch of wild kids, enjoying a wild band. So.
When was the last time you were back?
It was about a year and a half.
A year and a half ago.
You've been playing masses of tour dates running throughout the summer. Are there any places in particular you're looking forward to playing at?
I mean, we look forward to going everywhere out in Europe because the fans have a deep appreciation for hip hop, and the reaction to it is unlike what you might see in the States. I mean, there's some crazy fans in the States, but out here, I guess because they don't have it as much, they get up for it a little more. So we get excited when we come out this way and get to play our music for people out here.
You've been collaborating with Roscoe recently. How did the collaboration come together?
We heard about this guy. I mean, I'd been playing some of his records and my mixes on our web show or internet live stream show we have. And I had been playing mixes, and people would asked me, how come you don't play dubstep? And I simply said, because I don't have the library. If you send me some music you want me to play, I'll play it. And, so they sent me a whole list of dubstep music, about 1,500 songs. And there was a lot of different producers, but one that stood out to us was Roscoe. And we're like, wow, it'd be cool to do something with him. And we knew we had mutual friends who made an introduction. We kind of just vibed out, realized that we could get along, and we started working on one song, and that one song led to the others. So it was a really cool experience, but it was basically the fans who put me on to who this guy was. And I mentioned it to a friend, like, hey man, this guy Roscoe, he's really good. And he's, oh, I know that guy, my friend so-and-so knows him. You want me to hook it up? I'm like, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Will we be seeing another collaboration with Roscoe or other artists in the future?
Yeah, after this EP, we felt so good about it. We sat down with Roscoe and talked about more music. So, definitely, that is something we got planned in the future. When we would release that, we don't know yet, but it's about just getting the songs together and having the time to record them. But
you're no doubt one of the biggest names in the hip-hop history. What would you say has been your biggest motivation over the years?
For me, is motivation is being up there and being talked about in the same sentences with like some of my idols, like Run DMC, Public Enemy, and Beastie Boys, and NWA, and you throw Cypress Hill in there. It still motivates me, to keep on, being the best that I can be for this band. To keep people talking about us with those gods, you know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, for me, it's just to keep it going, to keep our legacy going, and to add on to it, and to keep making good music. We all still have a great passion for making music and performing it. So I think that's something that keeps us going.
Do you think the hip-hop scene has evolved for the better?
I think both. It's evolved for the better in some aspects, and in other aspects it's gone backwards. It just depends on the style of hip-hop music you like, because now there's so many different styles within hip-hop. And there's some really good stuff and some really crappy stuff. I guess it's just a matter of what you like and what not. But the one thing that I see that is a negative factor is that a lot of the young artists, not all of them, but many of them, don't know the history of what it took for hip hop for rap music to be where it's at now, for them to have gotten these opportunities. Whereas in our school we were students of the game. We knew all the groups that came out before us, that inspired us, that were our idols, and you know, when they passed the torch, we made sure that we, you know, paid respects and honored them, and kept trying to, you know, keep it within the same thing that they did, inspire others. And then when it's the time to pass the torch on and say, hey, these guys are the new guys, you should check them out, to do so, you know what I mean? Whereas these kids these days that are doing it, they're not so educated on who came before them and the dues that these guys had to pay for you to even get that opportunity. So I think that's one thing that's bothersome towards a lot of veteran artists. But for us, we don't, you know, we don't pay attention to that. We do what we do and let the artists, you know, whether they're old school or new school, do what they do, and we all coexist, because music, there's so many people out there, there's music for everyone.
What advice would you give to up and coming artists then?
Just to, you know, be yourself and constantly be writing and recording and performing, so that you can, you know, you can get better at your craft, evolve and grow.
Yeah.
Because the one thing you don't want to do is get to a certain point and think that you got it all figured out, and you just stay there and you never evolve and you never grow. You know, if you do that, there's no longevity in that, and people will get tired of you really fast. So it's constantly be yourself, work at your craft, and don't be afraid to push the envelope.
With technology growing, many artists are always looking for the new thing to keep their shows jaw-dropping. This year at Coachella, a holographic performance was put together on Tupac. What were your thoughts of this?
I thought when I first saw that, whatever, I wasn't there, so I saw it on the computer. And being a friend of Tupac's, I really didn't know how I felt at first, like the first couple of days. But then something like came over me, and it was like, why not, you know? A lot of people didn't get to see what a badass he was on stage, you know? And at least with this particular version of it, you could see somewhat of how cool he was, what a cool dude he was, and what a great lyricist he was. So after a few days, I was like, all right, that's cool. You know, I didn't have a problem with it. So I don't know about like just now. It just seems like it's all over the place, and a bunch of people are doing it. But I think, yeah, I think, you know, the first couple of times they did it, it was cool. You know, and
Bring back a lot of memories.
yeah, it did for me. Just watching it on the, you know, it just made me remember how much I miss him all over again. You know.
Yeah, amazing performance. You've been very vocal about the marijuana movement and your support for it. Can you tell us your views on marijuana?
Dr. Green Thumb.
We think it should be legal, you know, that there should be a tax and regulation on it. With the state of all these different economies back home in the states, with all the separate states, they're in desperate need of a new revenue stream of some sort. And, you know, when the 16 to 17 states put the legislation in effect, they all started gaining capital from it, you know, when they had the medical marijuana collectives up, you know, and they couldn't just pull out that sort of revenue stream out of nowhere, because it created jobs, you know, all over the place, and people that run these places, as far as the people that also grow it, it takes a team. So a lot of people were you know, getting jobs from it, and obviously each and every one of those guys get taxed from, you know, from their paychecks and stuff like that, and it was creating a whole different revenue stream. And if they want to put a dent in the deficit and the national deficit and the individual state economies, you know, the deficits, I should say, they need to legalize it across the board in all the states and just regulate it like they do alcohol and tobacco. And I think, you know, once they do that, they're going to see a significant portion of that deficit wiped away. And I think that could happen out here in these different countries that are having trouble too, like in Greece and Italy and Spain. Not saying that that's going to be the cure for all their problems, but that is one way that they could alleviate some of it, you know. So we're constantly trying to pump legalization.
Yeah. Do you think the UK might be treated to another show from you guys in 2013?
We're planning on it. We definitely want to return here. This is New York is one of our home away from homes, and so is London. So it's always good to come back here.
Do you have any news on releases or tours you'd like to share?
Well, we just released the Cypress Rusco last night.
Last night, yeah.
So that's the latest one.
Yeah. Do you have any messages for your fans watching?
We just wanted to say thanks for the support throughout the years, and we're gonna keep it rolling, and hopefully they'll be along on the whole ride with us. So.